spring is just around the corner, the time when there are a lot of weddings, and it brings to mind the ministry of preparing couples for marriage and for supporting family life. And joining us today are great friends of Catholic TV, Kari and Steve Colello, who want to talk about the marriage ministry. Guys, thanks so much.
Thank you for having us. It's good to be here.
So, Steve, you get the first question.
Okay.
I'm going to throw it right at you. Tell us about Transformed in Love.
Transformed in Love is the new initiative for a marriage preparation program, and it was Cardinal Sean's idea. One of his first task forces was to look at marriage. Had a huge committee. I think when everything's said and done, there are well over 40 people that were on these committees and worked on this.
Wow.
We're talking counselors, canon lawyers, a bishop. You go through, through the list. And I will give credit to Kari for coordinating this. She listened to everybody, and you can actually see it's a new type of program. And this program has these threads of the canonical thread, which the importance of the vow. It's got Cardinal Sean wanted to be evangelical, catechetical, propositional to meet the young people where they're at, and the stories and the success of the program have really moved people, both team members, and enriched their marriages, as well as the young people. It's been great.
Kari, I gotta note this and then ask you a question. It seems to me as if Transformed in Love certainly has local roots here in the Archdiocese of Boston, but it is also applicable on a national platform. Is that the case?
It is, it is. We obviously developed it for us here in Boston and for our use, and then once we started working on it and spent so much time, Cardinal Sean said, well, you know what, it is of value not only for us because we've been able to have so many people work on this for so long, we want to make it available to other people who may not have the resources that we did. The time, I mean, we began this in 2006. Our first program was in 2009, and then we just published here in 2013. So we are very excited, and with the publication, we wanted to make it available to other places besides our diocese, and there is interest, which is exciting. And it was just published in 2013, and we've seen interest around the country in other dioceses. Cardinal Sean invited us to come down to the U.S. Bishops' Gathering this past November, and there was a lot of interest there among a number of bishops. So we're seeing it. It is brand new, but we're seeing interest even internationally. I happened to see an advertisement with Spanish bishops who they had a press conference and they were trying to do the same type of thing in terms of strengthening marriage and made reference to the program and that they had seen it and had seen its effectiveness and were grounding some of what they were doing based on what we had done here, which was very, very exciting.
Famous.
Famous, so famous, so famous.
What are the books that, so what are these books that
So
you have
I brought
right
the books here to show this. We have two books. One is the Engaged Couple Workbook, which is what the couples receive in the program. And then we have the Leader's Guide that is obviously the manual. And it includes in it a DVD of all the presentation, a CD, so that the presentations can be run. So it's meant to be, someone purchases these anywhere, they can run it. They don't need us to train them. We've been willing and made ourselves available to help other places, but it's really meant to be a teach out of the box so people can purchase it and run it.
I have to thank you for this, on behalf of myself, my brother priest, and all those who collaborate with us here locally and nationally, because we desperately need help so that we can serve couples preparing for marriage better, and because marriage is in a difficult situation right now, and we want to help people as much as we can. I want to thank you for this on behalf of priests, and it is a great resource for priests, isn't it, pastors?
It is. Yeah. You know what? The priests have responded wonderfully. The comment is that they all want to prepare these marriages, but we've kind of forgotten how. And whether it be the apologetics or whether it be the human, it's very a holistic program with basic communication skills and things like this. So we're not sure what they're coming with, where they're coming from, and it's tough for a pastor nowadays. So the hope is, with this as the anchor, there's some pre-materials that will help the pastors ahead of time. Then they actually know kind of a standardized content of what they're getting, how they're getting it, which makes it easier and better for them to follow up with the couples as they prepare them more immediately in the parish. So it's a great collaboration for the parish priest and the diocese, and the young people have been responding to address your point about, we're kind of in a tough spot with marriage. We've kind of forgotten what it is. The number one comment we get across the boards from the young people is, how come no one ever told us this before? This seems to be such an institution, and a lot of them don't have necessarily the experience the idea of marriage because of growing up. So
Great
it's been a
compliment.
beautiful thing. Yeah.
Now, obviously, this is not something that you can do in a couple of minutes, but I'm going to ask you to try to do it in a couple of minutes. What piece of advice would you give? Either I'll throw it out there and you guys can battle through it. What piece of advice would you guys give to a couple about strengthening marriage in just a minute or two? What are some of the things?
I'll jump in real quick. You know, I think two things that I think of immediately. One is faith and how important faith is as a foundation for the relationship, and then the other part is the human formation part, the living together, the skills of communication. Developing good communication is very, very key. But those two hand in hand. You know, I think in my own marriage and our own marriage, our faith has really transformed our relationship. But then it's not just staying there. It's developing virtue and love and loving in a good way over time. That's very important. So those two go hand in hand. They're not one without the other.
And I would say that, you know, the old Catholic teaching, grace builds on nature. And we want to work on both elements and weave them together. And the other thing is we invest in your marriage. It's an important sacrament, so there's a grace. God wants to be present in that and active in that, not just the day of your wedding, but throughout your marriage. And sometimes we repair our cars and we're really good about upgrading our iPhones and everything else, but we don't invest daily, weekly, yearly in our marriage. And making that small thing, don't give up on your marriage. It's work. But everything worthwhile requires work.
If I might say, you guys are a great witness to the sacrament of marriage, too, and the grace of God working among you.
That's
So,
great.
That's right. We're
We
trying.
have our moments all the time.
I can imagine.
Where can people learn more?
For Transformed in Love, we have a website for it, transformedinlove.com. So the publishers created that. It's very comprehensive. It's a great place to go for more information and ordering the materials and
Easy.
resources. Very easy.
Daughters of St.
Good
Paul,
stuff.
a great website.
Yes.
We like it that way.
Yep.
Well, guys, as always, thanks
Thank
so
you
much
for having
being
us.
with us today.